Hi everybody, and welcome back to Hex Token channel, and here we are on hex.com. This is the Hex price prediction, a weekly update. So the last one I did was on the 17th. I'll leave the link to that in the video description. You can check that out, of course, and this is the latest one. We've had a lot happen during this period, so we're going to talk about all of that in this video. First of all, we're going to do the price review, and then we're going to look at price prediction and talk about the different factors, fundamental and TA. Technical analysis that we're going to consider here. All right, let's get on to the weekly chart. We're on DEX tools here on the USD pair, and you can see a weekly chart, and this doesn't give the complete history. This goes back to October 2020, but gives you enough with the volume. You can see the volume here just ramping up on our big move ups, as it were, over the last year almost. So pretty cool. And so yeah, amazing. Oh, just over a year actually. So this is the 50-week average here in the yellow, and you can see that we're coming down to that. If we do come down to that, that's 12.1 cents. That's a pretty good strong weekly support, and that's where we're at the moment. So I don't expect it to really breach that. We do have a black swan event. So if you don't know what that is, it's like something that was unexpected that happened, something that you really couldn't predict or take into account. And we're going to talk about that shortly too. We've got the average, of course, moving up here at the top here at 21 cents. And this is where we've been in the week, the last week, between 16.7 and 19.9 cents. That's the current week. The previous week, between 18.7 and 25.7. So this gives you an idea there of the range that we've been in, and obviously still in a downtrend. Now, so this is the volume. The volumes have been declining. Let's have a quick look at the charts here. We've also got the RSI has moved into the middle of the pack, so it's got to make a decision in the weekly. But the MACD is looking obviously down, and also the commodities index is also in negative territory, negative 56. Now the volume indicators, which is the EFF, the force indicator, and the oscillating volume indicator, are both a -2. So both down at the bottom here. So that bodes well for once we have a turn up, because you see that it's almost like loading the guns and ready for a big rise. And it allows all these indicators to rocket up like they were back up at the top here, for example, in the RSI. So that's where that's at. So the weekly RSI is currently at 45. And then, of course, we've got the DMI down the bottom here. Sellers are more than buyers, which is obvious there. So we want that to reverse around. All right, that is the weekly. Let's go straight to the daily. And here we are with the daily with nothing on it. That's what it's like. We've just got the Bollinger Bands and the moving average 200-day in yellow. Now, this is the daily time frame. We just moved from the weekly there. And, of course, we basically saw the price there as well, 12.1 cents. Now we're in the daily context, so smaller intervals. And you can see that we're obviously in a big downtrend. We broke out of that, right? And then we're coming back down. Now, we're going to check out the chart, but we're just going to look at the basic chart at the moment. We've got the Bollinger Bands in orange, so the bottom 5% of the price range, and the top 95%. In the middle, we've got the 50% range. So at the moment, we're in the bottom half of that. And of course, the price has just got weakened a little bit more to 17.7 at the time of this recording. So that's interesting. We've also got the volumes decreasing. Now, this can do quite well if we have an RSI divergence. So we're going to check that out as well. And so the average at the moment for 200-day rolling average is 20 cents. So that's a lot better than the weekly average, 50. That's the 50-day weekly average. So this line here is the 50 weekly average, so like almost a year. And here is the 200-day rolling average at 20 cents. So definitely better on the daily. So if we can get back up to over that, would be pretty cool. That's pretty bullish. We're going to pull up our previous price history and check this out. So it's going to get busy here. So basically what we had in the yellow here was a bull flag, and we fell out of that. So the percentages have all gone. Once you get at about 30% decrease in price downwards, it starts to fall out. We were already testing it last time we did the video. It was about 33%, but that's pretty much broken down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that away, and bam, and we're going to take all that away. and take that away. And of course, because we didn't get the breakout upwards, we got the breakout downwards. And because we had a downward trend and almost a pendant-like feature, it actually broke down. So we ended up with the bearish play, and that was probably more likely with the bearish downtrend. But you can always hope for the bull to break out if we'd had the news at the right time. But we didn't get the PulseChain news as we might have liked. But we got some realism in the updates from Richard in the last 3 live streams that he had. So that gives us a lot more information that we didn't have since he wasn't streaming for about 4 or 5 weeks. So just take that into account. So all these yellow scenarios got deleted. That was the bullish play. And of course, this green line got broken as well. So that was our bullish support line. That green line goes as well. So unfortunately, the bulls won out there. We did get the short-term target, and that did achieve. So one out of 2 things happened. We got the short-term target, that did happen, but the breaking the bull flag out of a downtrend, of course, didn't happen. So we got the probability about a third that it would go down, and it has. So now what we're looking at is we've still got the short-term support line in purple. This is the battle line, and of course we can actually pop back over there, just like we did here. We can actually pop back over. We can actually pop back over too. But what that suggests is that this is the short-term battle line still there, as long as we pop back over. And of course, we've got the long-term support line. Now, this is all on a linear price scale. Obviously, for long-term trends, it's better to use a log chart. So we're going to look at that next. But this is what's happening at the moment. So we've broken down. We're at 17.7. Where was the bottom of this previous low? Was at 14.5 cents, if you recall. So that's where we're going to put our next line down here. And I'm not sure what color it is, but yellow will do. So this is our double bottom. So now we're in a double bottom and basically a W, because that's where we're going to look at the going out. And here we are. We're going to look at this hitting, and I don't think we're going to get here, but this is where I'm thinking we're going to get to. I think we're going to get to about 16 cents. But we could actually drop down. So we could actually drop down there. We could even break the long-term support, but we could probably jump back above that. So we're either going to go here. So I'm just going to make that a solid line. Let me get in here, and we're going to put as an arrow. Bam. Actually, we're going to do the other arrow. So let's switch that around. Let's get the line there, and we're going to do the arrow that way. So we're going to go there. And we're going to copy that, bam, or we're going to go here, down here, and then pop back up. So we've got 2 scenarios here to play out, and we'll probably end up more like that. So this defend linear line's a big support line. So we haven't breached that line in the whole time. So if we actually scale up the price, you can see that line has been in great long-term trend support on the linear. You can see all the way back as we've been going up, and that's all the way back right through to December 2020. So we've been holding that line pretty strongly on the linear, just to give you the idea of that. So that's a pretty strong line, and that's a line I believe that whales really want to defend. But they may let it go down further because it's cheaper. Cheaper is better for them, but they really want to keep this long-term trend intact because that's a real bullish way. It's much easier to grind the price up. All right, so that's probably where it might head. Now I've got here, where have I got the date here? 5th of December. So we might even go somewhere like that, more like the 1st of December, because that's currently about a week away. So in a week we could hand out down there, and this could even be shorter like that, but we're going to put it there for the time being. Out to the 1st of December. Obviously, we've got the highest of stakes on the 2nd. So not the highest of stake. We've got the 731 gathering, the 2nd birthday for Hex with Richard in London. So it's pretty bullish. So that's where we're going to head at the moment. So that's the current picture. That's kind of the current picture at the moment. It looks like we're going to get a double bottom. That's probably the more likely scenario than a breaking upwards. Now we could get a higher low. That's the secondary scenario. Where we actually don't go any further down than we are at the moment. And so let me just put that there like that. Bam. And we'll take away the arrows on that. So that's the 2nd scenario, and we're going to paint that a different color. we'll call that a red, a green color, because it's quite bullish. And so we could actually just hit off here at the 16.6 cents and not even go close to this trend line or go to a double bottom. But double bottom definitely seems probably slightly more likely, and this is slightly less likely. So let's say 2/3, 1/3 on the probability, and that's where we might hit at the moment. So we're getting pretty close to that at the moment, and of course that's what we've got at the moment. So before we move on into this kind of the current climate, before we move on, let's look at the indicators here. We've got the CCI index near the bottom, so definitely a bearish trend at the moment, but could bounce off. We've got the MACD pretty much at the signal line. We've got the RSI facing downwards. And that means we've got a lot of room to move up. It's currently sitting at 36 on the daily. We've got the EFI sitting even at the moment, and we've got the volume oscillator in negative territory, so a lot of way to room up, as you can see previously, to move up. And then, of course, the DMI with the more sellers than buyers at the moment, with the blue line in the middle. So obviously, once we get better lines, we'll be able to with the red line, and we'll be able to get that moving up with the blue line as well. So that'll be much better as well. So we'll get rid of that orange seller's line. All right, so that's what's happening in the chart there at the moment. So let's have a quick look at the price prediction moving forward. All right, before we do that, we're going to jump to we'll jump to the not that one. We're going to jump to the log scale. Let me just pull that up. You can see on the log scale, we are still quite a mile away from the long-term trend on the log scale. So this is the more intact long-term trend. So we've got 10 cents could be our bottom on this. So we could actually drop down lower versus the bearish line here on the linear. But this is the first one we want to hold, and then the second one would be this log scale one here at 10 cents. So I think this linear one's going to be the most obvious one, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, so we've got long-term support here on the linear. We've got even a lower price on at around 10 cents on the log, and we want to hold that as much as possible. Obviously, the higher that we stay up, the better. If we keep this higher low compared to the previous bottom, then that's even more bullish, because obviously higher low, we can start moving into an uptrend. Now we do have to break this short-term bullish breakout line. This is the most critical one. That's the most bullish scenario. Once we cross that line, that's very cool. All right, so let's get into the prediction part. Obviously, this is our previous prediction that we were starting at the 3rd of December, moving up to the 9th of December, we would start to rally, and that would assuming that we were going to get from the 15th of November, that we were going to get a PulseChain announcement of some form. And of course, that's been delayed. We've got a PulseChain testnet 2.0, and Richard has given us an indicator on the map here that PulseChain is somewhere between the 21st and the 22nd of January. So 21st of December, maybe Christmas, or just after, maybe 6 weeks would be just after, about the 6th of January, or as late as 22nd of January. So he said 1 or 2 months, and that's the time frame that we're looking at the moment. So that's what we've got there, PulseChain name it, and that's what we've got to use, the latest information. That is it. We've also got HexScale coming in potentially in December. That's very bullish from the Kinetic team, getting buyers, private buyers in. So that's the second bullish factor. Right, so PulseChain, HexScale equivalent, with the private buyers coming in to buy a lot, and also Robert Kiyosaki is around the place, and he's got a lot of billionaire friends, and it's the word on the street is that he has already dipped his toes in into buying some Hex. So if he does that and he's happy, then he could start going all in, as it were, and also telling his other billionaire friends. So you could see there's 3 really big bullish things happening around this couple of months in ahead. So it's very bullish at the moment. Right, so we're going to take that time frame. We've got the 21st. We're going to scale our chart over. And so we're going to move this over to the 21st. I'll just take that line there. And we're going to move that to, let me just move it over to there, 21st. And of course, we're going to take that in. And we're going to take the midpoint. So around, let me just pull that over. around about the 4th to 6th January, yeah, 5th, yeah, that's pretty good. And then we're going to have that move up, so pretty nice. So we're going to have that match up with here. So we're going to take around a 5th or 6th, so somewhere about halfway through, and let's say that it launches then, and we're going to have that run up. Let me just pull this back up here. We're going to scroll this up. So what we could have is, let's get another arrow, and we're going to have this here. And we're going to change that to yellow, and we're going to put a little arrow on that. And so we could have this breaking upwards out of here and then having a massive rally all the way up to, oh, let me just make that orange there. It's probably a better way of doing it. We could have that all the way up to here and just keep powering up. So we could just break out of this double bottom and a double and just keep going. Once we break this line here, we'll be all go. So that's probably the kind of a scenario that we get back up to 50 cents, move over the sideways up to the New Year's. We'll know that PulseChain's running up. Now it may be delayed slightly than this, so that's why we've got the old price indicator. This is probably going to, let me just pull this up. We've got December running on, so if the HexScale does come in, this is going to help pump this all up too, as well as in Kiyosaki decides to go in a bit more. So previously our target was $3.20, and now we're going to pull that in let me just go back to the date here, into the 22nd, and let's pull that out. So we're going to take that in slightly earlier. So we're going to take it 17. We're going to actually take the price down to about $1.80. We're going to pull back from that amount, so 320. And we're going to say that PulseChain happens, and we're going to half that with the P-Hex that comes out. And so we're looking at about $1.80. And that's at, $3.20 is $1.60. So we're going to say it's going to be slightly better than 50-50, and we're going to put the new target at about $1.80. So that's kind of the bullish scenario at the moment, and we're going to take that away, and we might just put this moving up right up to the top here, and then we're going to move sideways for a bit, and hopefully we'll get an announcement. Now we've obviously got on the is it here, the 2nd here of December, we've got the 2nd birthday, and hopefully we're going to have an announcement on PulseChain about then. So we're supposed to have the testnet coming up. I think testnet will be pretty bullish, and that will also help feed us. So we've got the testnet, we've got HexScale in December, all in this period here. And then, of course, the existing whales, the HexGodWhale, all that sort of thing coming in. Now, those are all the positive bonuses. Now, the negative, we've got a small negative. Well, it depends on how big it's going to be, but the black swan event was the shark attack, getting hacked, and of course, I do have a big, my condolences to that shark who was just on Maddie Allen's show. That's Hex 19, I think it was. And he's about 82 years old. So he was one of the sharks. He was completely committed to Hex, had long stakes, and obviously did extremely well out of it. And so a big shout out to him and his family. They are going to be going to, I understand, the either the conference or the London gathering. I'm not sure which one, but big shout out to them. And yeah, so that was that. So the hacker potentially could sell down some of that. I estimate it's about $3.5 million worth. So maybe 15 million hex, something like that. So just take into account that's sort of the wild card in here that could, depending on how they sell it down, fast or slow or whatever they decide to do with it. So just take that into account. We could see a red candle from there, like a spike down, and that would be about 10% of the reserve pool at the moment. Now I do understand that the bigger stakes, the long year ones, the giant ones, where we got the big hex payday, that was completely burned as far as I could tell. So that's pretty much that. So here is, folks, we've got to really breach this this line here, and that's at about 24 cents. We really need to get over that. We already hit that last time and failed to break down here. but we do have the massive long-term trend line support now. Even if we just go below it slightly, we could then start rallying as we come in from the 2nd of December. So I think that's looking pretty positive. That is the Hex birthday as well, and I think that's a good day to start the price moving up as well. And obviously HexScale, Kiyosaki, a lot of other players, the HexGodWhale. So yeah, I think that's probably where we're at the moment. Probably the next week could be a little bit weak, and then hopefully we'll get that big breakout. So hopefully that helps. Very cool. And yeah, I hope it feels free to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, of course. I look forward to your comments and feedback in the comment section. And hope you enjoyed this one. This is the weekly update, and we'll do another one in a week's time, which will be around the time that Richard has the or goes to the celebration for the 13731 gathering, the Hex second birthday. It's not far away at all. Look how close this is. And we should have testnet out with any day now. I mean, it should be any day. We've got about 3 or 4 days for that to come out to stay on this timeline. So looking forward to that. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe, like, and share, as I say. Hit the bell, and I look forward to your comments. I hope you enjoy yourself. Get those T-shares, folks. Enjoy. They're certainly cheaper today than they were yesterday. Bye for now.